I really like that. Love the waterfall and the blue. Bless you. Look at this cool freaking thing she got me.
Yeah.
Mouse pad.
Like a mouse pad and like a
a
wrist.
little coaster. But it's got the cool little thing. Zoom in on it. But like, look how pretty that is.
I know, I love how it looks too. Like, it doesn't look choppy because of the bump in it.
Yeah, it's smooth. Where they put it, it's right where a waterfall is too. So it's perfect. We're writing the first book.
The Pilgrimage.
The Pilgrimage, right there.
Duat.
Check it out if you haven't seen it yet. Yeah, that was when I first pulled it out. So at that time it had been a year, maybe. That I had because
I remember it was weird seeing you pull out a computer. And hey everybody, welcome into Folklore and Flourish. Keep it. Hey everybody, welcome into Folklore and Flourish. You're here today with Jane and Mark over at Blue Box 29. Today is February 6th. Today is all about the devotion. February is the month of sacred bonds, the beloved and the binder. Week 1, the awakening of love. The devotion is our topic today. And our theme is love proven by action. Our 4 stories that we're going to showcase that with come from Hindu, Norse, Welsh, and Indonesian folklore. So we'll see you after these 4 stories. Before we begin, I want to take a moment to honor the cultures behind the stories we are about to explore. The tales shared here come from many peoples, lands, and traditions. I do not change these stories to fit modern expectations or to align with today's social standards. Instead, I present them as they were told, sometimes beautiful, sometimes harsh, sometimes challenging. We are not here to judge the past, but to understand it, to listen, to learn, and to honor the ancestors who carried these stories forward. We also share stories from various religious traditions. These are presented in their historical and spiritual context, with respect for their beliefs that they represent. Every culture deserves respect, context, and acknowledgement, and this space is dedicated to doing exactly that. Story 1, Rama and Sita, Devotion that Endures the Trial. In the Hindu epic tradition, love is not proven by longing alone. It is proven by action. The Ramayana, one of the great Sanskrit epics of India, does not present devotion as a feeling that remains untouched by hardship. It presents devotion as something tested, strained, misunderstood, and still chosen. At this heart stands the story of Rama and Sita, whose bond endures exile, separation, war, and doubt. Their love is not preserved by ease. It survives because both remain committed to righteousness, duty, and one another, even when the cost is unbearable. Rama is born a prince, Vayodhya, heir to a prosperous kingdom ruled by his father, King Dasharatha. He is regarded as the embodiment of Dharma, moral order, righteous conduct, and cosmic responsibility. Sita is discovered not in a palace, but in the earth itself. King Janaka finds her while plowing a sacred field, and she is named Sita for the furrow from which she emerges. From her beginning, she belongs both to the world of humans and to the deeper rhythms of the land. When Rama and Sita meet, their union is not described as sudden passion. It is recognition shaped by duty, reverence, and shared values. Their marriage is sanctified not by spectacle, but by alignment. Devotion begins here quietly, but it does not remain untouched. Through political intrigue and an old promise invoked at the wrong moment, Rama is exiled from the kingdom for 14 years. He accepts without protest. To refuse would violate Dharma. Sita insists on accompanying him. She is not commanded to go. She chooses to go. In forest exile, Sita's devotion becomes visible not through comfort, but through endurance. She leaves behind luxury, security, and the certainty of protection. She walks beside Rama through wilderness and uncertainty, sustaining herself not on promises of return, but on fidelity to her vow. Devotion, in this tradition, is not obedience. It is shared resolve. The crisis arrives when Ravana, the 10-headed king of Lanka, abducts Sita and carries her across the sea. Though he offers her wealth, power, and queenship, she refuses him again and again. She does not remain faithful because Rama might rescue her. She remains faithful because it is who she is. Sita is imprisoned in the Ashoka Vana, a grove meant to soften her resolve. Instead, it becomes a place of waiting, resistance, and inner strength. She does not escape by force. She does not yield out of fear. Her devotion is not loud. It is unbroken. Meanwhile, Rama's response to her abduction is not despair, nor surrender to fate. It is movement. He searches. He crosses forests, alliances, and oceans. He forms bonds with the Vanara people, including Hanuman, whose leap across the sea becomes one of epic's most stirring symbols of faith and action. Rama does not wait for love to return on its own. He acts. The war against Ravana is not framed as revenge, but as restoration. Rama fights not only to reclaim Sita, but to reestablish moral balance. The battle is vast, mythic, and devastating. Yet even victory does not conclude the trial of devotion. When Sita is reunited with Rama, the world expects celebration. Instead, a test is demanded. Rama questions whether Sita's virtue remained intact during her captivity. In some tellings, this moment reveals the tragic weight of kingship. Rama's doubt is not personal cruelty, but fear of public dishonor, of moral ambiguity within leadership. Sita's response is not argument. She enters the fire. The Agni Pariksha, the trial by fire, is not a spectacle of offering. It is a declaration. Fire, the witness of truth, cannot harm her because she has remained faithful in thought, body, and spirit. She emerges unharmed. Devotion is vindicated, but not without cost. The Ramayana does not pretend that love proven by action escapes pain. It shows that devotion sometimes demands endurance beyond fairness. Sita's strength is not rewarded with ease. Her righteousness does not spare her from future exile or sorrow in later tellings. Yet the epic does not frame this as failure. It frames it as consequence. In Hindu cosmology, love is bound to dharma. Action, responsibility, and moral clarity matter more than comfort. Devotion is not defined by emotional intensity, but by alignment between values and behavior. Rama and Sita do not remain devoted because circumstances support them. They remain devoted because they choose integrity again and again. The lesson of their story is not that love will always be rewarded with reunion. It is that love becomes sacred when it is lived through action, restraint, courage, and persistence. Devotion is not proven in moments of ease. It is proven in what one continues to do when recognition is absent, when doubt intrudes, when the path forward requires sacrifice without guarantee. In this tradition, love is not what is said. Love is what is done. Story 2. Njord and Skathi. Devotion without sameness. In Norse tradition, love is not always a union of comfort. Sometimes devotion survives only by accepting difference. The story of Njord and Skathi comes from the Poetic Edda and Prose Edda, medieval Icelandic sources preserving the older mythic worldview of Scandinavia. Unlike many tales of love, this story does not resolve into harmony. Instead, it asks whether devotion can endure when two beings remain fundamentally misaligned. Skathi is a giantess, daughter of Thyatsi, a powerful Jotun slain by the gods. When her father is killed, Skathi arms herself and marches to Asgard, the stronghold of the gods, demanding justice. She is not subtle. She does not plead. She arrives in armor prepared for vengeance. The gods, wary of provoking further conflict, offer restitution. Skathi may choose a husband from among them, but only by seeing their feet, not their faces. The condition is meant to prevent chaos, but it also reveals something essential about the nature of this union. Skathi chooses Njord, a Vanir god associated with sea, prosperity, fishing, and calm waters. She believes she has chosen Baldur, the most beautiful of the gods, mistaking Njord's graceful feet for those of the radiant sun god. The marriage begins in misunderstanding. Njord belongs to the coast, to salt air and seabirds, to ships rocking gently against the shore. Skathi belongs to the mountains, to snowfields and silence, to wolves and skis and the echo of wind over stone. Their worlds do not overlap easily. Yet they attempt devotion. They agree to divide their time between their homes. 9 nights in Thrymheim, Skathi's icy mountain hall, and 9 nights, Noatun, Njord's seaside dwelling. The experiment fails. In the mountain, Njord cannot sleep. The howling of wolves unsettles him. The cold penetrates his bones. He longs for the sound of waves and the cry of gulls. He complains openly of discomfort, of aching limbs and restless nights. In the lowlands, Skathi suffers no less. The ceaseless motion of the sea unnerves her. The cries of seabirds feel chaotic rather than free. She misses the stillness of snow, the clarity of frozen air, the solitude that gives her strength. They are devoted enough to try. They are not alike enough to remain. Unlike many myths, this story does not punish either figure. Njord is not portrayed as weak for failing in the mountains. Skathi is not depicted as cold for rejecting the sea. Their separation is not tragedy in the traditional sense. It is honesty. Devotion, in Norse cosmology, is not always about merging lives into sameness. It is about recognizing when persistence becomes distortion. Njord and Skathi part not in bitterness, but in clarity. They do not attempt to force love into a shape it cannot hold. Skathi returns to the mountains, where she becomes associated with winter, hunting, and endurance. Njord remains with the sea, continuing to bless sailors, fishers, and trade. Each thrives again only after release. Their devotion existed. It simply could not live in the same place. This story reveals a stark Norse truth. Love proven by action does not guarantee permanence. Effort alone does not sanctify a bond if it erases the nature of those involved. Devotion is not measured by how much one can endure in the wrong environment. It is measured by how honestly one honors what is true. In Norse ethics, strength includes discernment. The willingness to release a bond that demands self-betrayal is not failure. It is wisdom. Njord and Skathi do not cling to suffering for the sake of appearance. They choose alignment over vision. Their love does not end in conquest or death. It ends in respect. This myth stands apart from more romanticized traditions because it refuses to frame compromise as virtue when it causes harm. Devotion is not blind endurance. It is the courage to act rightly, even when that action means letting go. Love here is not proven by staying. It is proven by knowing when staying becomes untrue. Story 3. Puil and Rhiannon. Devotion shown through waiting. In Welsh tradition, devotion is not proven through conquest or endurance alone. Sometimes devotion is proven through restraint. The story of Puil and Rhiannon appears in the Mabinogion, the great medieval collection of Welsh myth. These stories do not rush towards resolution. They linger in consequence, patience, and moral testing. Puil begins not as a flawless hero, but as a man learning what responsibility truly requires. He is the Lord of Dyfed, a kingdom in southwest Wales. One day, while hunting, Puil makes a grave mistake. He drives away the hounds Aran, the Lord of Annwn, the Otherworld, and claims the kill as his own. In Welsh cosmology, this is no small offense. The Otherworld is not a distant heaven or hell. It exists alongside the human realm, overlapping in ways that demand respect and humility. Puil's error disrupts this balance. To make amends, Puil agrees to exchange places with Aran for a year and a day. He must rule Annwn in Aran's stead and defeat Aran's army without taking advantage of his borrowed power. During this time, Puil proves himself not through aggression, but through restraint. He refuses intimacy with Aran's wife, honoring a bond that is not his own. He governs fairly. He restores balance. Because of this, Puil earns a new name. Puil Pen Annwn, head of the underworld. Devotion in this tradition begins with self-control. After returning to Dyfed, Puil encounters Rhiannon for the first time. She appears riding a white horse, calm and luminous, moving at a pace that cannot be overtaken, no matter how fast Puil's men pursue her. Only when Puil himself calls out to her does she stop. Rhiannon is not a prize to be seized. She responds only to direct, respectful address. She tells Puil that she has come specifically for him, though she has been promised against her will to another man. Gowl. Rhiannon chooses Puil, and in doing so, reverses the usual structure of pursuit. Yet Puil falters. Through hesitation and poor counsel, he allows Gowl to manipulate the situation, nearly losing Rhiannon through his own inaction. It is Rhiannon who devises the plan that restores justice, trapping Gowl through wit rather than force. Already the story makes its values clear. Devotion is not dominance. It is responsibility, attentiveness, and follow-through. After their marriage, Puil and Rhiannon ruled together. For a time, there is peace, but the deepest test of devotion arrives not through enemies, but through loss. Rhiannon gives birth to a son. On the night of his birth, the child disappears while under the care of her attendants. Fearing punishment, the attendant committed an unforgivable act. They kill a puppy, smear Rhiannon with its blood, and accuse her of murdering her own child. Rhiannon does not resist. She does not flee. She accepts punishment for a crime she did not commit. For years, she is forced to sit at the gates of the fortress, telling passerby her supposed crime and offering to carry them on her back like a beast of burden. She endures humiliation without bitterness. She does not demand rescue. She does not curse those who wronged her. Her devotion is quiet, but absolute. Puil, notably, does not abandon her. In many traditions, devotion would be proven through dramatic defense or violent retribution. In this story, devotion is shown through constancy. Puil does not divorce Rhiannon. He does not replace her. He remains aligned with her, even as her reputation is destroyed. Eventually, the child is discovered alive, raised unknowingly by another lord. The truth is revealed. Rhiannon is restored. Their son is named Pryderi, meaning care or concern, a name shaped by loss and endurance. The story does not conclude with triumphal celebration. It concludes with balance restored. In Welsh myth, devotion is not about correcting appearances. It is about staying aligned with truth, even when truth offers no immediate reward. Rhiannon's strength lies not in protest, but in unwavering integrity. Puil's devotion lies not in rescuing her from suffering, but in refusing to abandon her within it. Waiting, in this tradition, is not passive. It is an act of trust. Puil and Rhiannon teach that love proven by action may look like patience rather than heroics. It may require remaining present when outcomes are uncertain and justice is delayed. Devotion is not always loud. Sometimes it sits at the gate and tells the truth again and again until the world is ready to hear it. Story 4. Panji in Sekataji, Devotion through Disguise and Return. In Javanese tradition, devotion is not proven by constancy of place. It is proven by constancy of heart. The tales of Panji and Sekataji come from Java, preserved through court poetry, shadow puppetry, dance, and oral storytelling. These stories travel widely across Southeast Asia, changing form but retaining their core truth. Love may wander, but devotion remembers. Panji is a prince of Jengala, refined, disciplined, and trained in both martial skill and courtly conduct. Sekataji is the princess of Kadiri, known not only for beauty but for intelligence and composure. Their marriage is arranged, intended to unite kingdoms and restore balance. Before the union can be completed, Sekataji disappears. In some tellings, she is abducted. In others, political unrest forces separation. What matters is not the cause, but the response. The world fractures, and Panji does not remain waiting for order to restore itself. He searches. Panji does not pursue Sekataji as a conqueror. He disguises himself, leaving behind royal identity, wandering as a commoner, a musician, a servant, sometimes even a fool. He enters villages without announcing his name. He listens. He observes. He learns how ordinary people live, love, and suffer. Devotion here requires humility. Sakartaji, meanwhile, survives through her own transformations. She takes on new names. She hides her royal bearing. She lives among strangers, enduring hardship without relinquishing her sense of self. Though suitors approach her, drawn by her presence, she refuses them all. She does not refuse because she expects Panji to arrive at any moment. She refuses because devotion is an identity, not a guarantee. The two cross paths more than once without recognition. Panji may pass through a village where Sakartaji has just left. Sakartaji may hear songs composed by Panji without knowing their source. Their devotion moves through absence, carried by memory rather than proximity. Eventually, fate allows recognition. When they meet again, Panji does not immediately reveal himself. He watches. He listens. He confirms that Sakartaji has remained true not through waiting, but through integrity. Only then does he speak his name. Recognition restores what wandering refined. Their reunion is not explosive. It is calm, grounded, earned. They return together, shedding disguises not as deception undone, but as trials completed. Their marriage proceeds, not as return to innocence, but as a union matured through separation. In Javanese philosophy, balance is not static. Harmony is achieved through movement, loss, and return. Devotion is not defined by remaining unchanged. It is defined by remaining aligned. Panji and Sekartaji do not love one another despite separation. They love one another through it. Their story endures because it affirms that devotion does not depend on visibility, status, or certainty. It depends on remembrance, on the refusal to replace what has been chosen, on the willingness to walk through unfamiliar lives without surrendering the bond that shapes one's becoming. In these tales, disguise is not betrayal. It is apprenticeship. Panji learns who he is without power. Sekartaji learns who she is without protection. When they reunite, they do so not as idealized figures, but as complete ones. Devotion here is not loud or tragic. It is patient return. Love survives not because it never falters, but because it remembers where it belongs. Hey everybody, welcome back into Folklore and Flourish. It's February 6th. We are super exhausted, so we're going to power through today. Today was a long day, so we're going to get through it today. We had 4 really amazing stories as usual, for our day of the devotion, love proven by action. Our lesson is love is what you do, right? So we talked about how excited we were to move out of just words into the actions of love.
Yeah.
And that's where we're at today, is that across these traditions, devotion is proven not by feeling, but by fidelity in action. Rama and Sita remain aligned and with righteousness through exile and trial. Nior's Goth honor devotion by refusing to live falsely. Rhiannon waits in truth, while Paul remains steadfast beside her. Panji and Sakartaji wander, change, and return without surrendering their bond. Each story reveals that devotion is not sameness or ease. It is the choice to act with integrity again and again, even when love is tested. Okay, our first one about Rama and Sita is profound. Right at the end, we got our big hook of kind of what devotion is in this Hindu story. So I'll reread it. Devotion is not proven in moments of ease. It is proven in what one continues to do when recognition is absent, when doubt intrudes, when the path forward requires sacrifice without guarantee. In this tradition, love is not what is said. Love is what is done. I saw you just like really, you liked that when you heard it.
Did. I loved this story, actually. Like, as I was listening to it, I was like getting into it. I was like nodding my head and stuff. Yeah, just because to me, when someone says something to you, but then those words don't align with, and then they just repeatedly do that. Well, I just kind of used that, like where I just been around people, not just relationships, but just people in general, where I allowed them to behave like that, where they didn't align their actions and words. And I think I even myself was played a part in it, not aligning my actions and my words. So, like, I would, never fault anyone for something that I did as well. It's mutual. But that being said, I am now 100%. I stand firm on, if your actions do not align with your words, I don't want to hear it. And I've said it multiple times. I mean, you've heard me say it about like other conversations that I've had. And it's just a respect thing for myself. And
Right.
because I respect myself so much, I'm able to love you like you deserve, I think. And that's what I like about this story, is it's showing, like, you choose to show that you care. Like getting me a goofy mat thing. Well, it's not goofy, but it's like super cute. Yeah, just doing little things like it, and it doesn't have to be a gift, but when she chose to leave like the comfort of what she had, and she's like, I know, but like I don't even think like she loved him at that point. It was just no, I made a commitment and I'm going to honor that. That's the way I took it, because it was arranged, or
Oh yeah, no, he was exiled for 14 years, remember?
yeah, like why was he exiled though?
That was I think we had that story before.
Yeah, it
So
sounded
I'll have to
familiar.
look back at a few of them.
But from a different,
to go
it
be
sounded
tested,
different.
to go be tested in some sort of aspect.
Yeah.
And then, so here's another test that he endured along the way. And she was demanded to be tested too. So
she was demanded by who though? Because I think because it said she chose to leave.
The world expected that. Because
from her,
yeah,
like within the tribe, like Hiba, she did that. One of the songs is, you can cut this out, that Rama 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 something.
I would like to listen to that song though, is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
But
I had a CD. It's probably in the Chevy.
What about the CD?
It's that song, like 10 different ways song, but it's sung different ways.
I enjoyed in this story that she endured a trial by fire. So because fire was the witness of truth, and if she had remained faithful in these three things, again, right? The three: faithful in thought, in body, and spirit. The three aspects. I think a lot of right there is we could all do that. Like that's what we all should do. And that's where the lines of, well, is it cheating if they don't do this or they don't do this? These are the three aspects: thought, body, spirit. So it's kind of interesting because I guess I'm trying to think of, because as we're reading these, we're like really just talking to each other through all of this.
Right. Yeah.
It's us trying to kind of better understand ourselves and what's going on and just kind of how we interpret the world. It doesn't mean that we're always right.
Yeah, for sure.
It doesn't mean that these stories are all just fictionalized or anything like that. They aren't real, because some of them, they are very real. And we're just here to better understand ourselves through the world stories. And
it's fun, like talking about these stories. Some I've heard and some I've never heard of. And then some make you start thinking a little bit and like make you want to go on a little adventure, like, because why not? So that's what it's doing for me.
And I like that, like being able to talk about this. Do you think that those are the three parameters around like cheating?
Of what now?
What like if you cheat through thought, body,
like thinking about
or
it,
spirit. Let's say that is the way.
Okay.
Thought, you're lusting after it. It's like consuming you. When you're with your partner, you're thinking about that.
Right.
Body, you're doing it.
Right.
And that's like, any touching.
Right.
I think is just inappropriate.
Right.
And then spirit is the emotional. Your soul is trying to like connect. Yeah. That deeper where it may not necessarily need body. That's how I took these three.
Yeah, the emotionals, that's no bueno.
I don't think any are.
No, for sure.
The thought one's kind of, I don't think that you should be lusting after other people, but like watching a movie and being like, oh, that's an attractive like actress, like she's beautiful, like, okay, I get that, because I do that. I'm like, wow, he's hot.
What else we need to say really much about that story? I really like that story. I think it
was a really good one.
Says a lot, like it shows a lot what can happen if you truly decide to devote yourself to that person and like make that choice. So like what you were talking about with the lustful stuff, I was thinking like that's a thing. I can't say that I haven't been like lustful thinking about like watching movies or something, but that's a part of my healing journey. Like what I said, what I was cutting out of my life, it's like, I wasn't kidding about that, because I want to truly make a difference inside, outside, so I can really.
You're talking about the diet and stuff?
The diet, what I'm not going to watch anymore.
Oh yeah, like the lusting all of stuff.
That. Like
that's right. That's what we were talking about.
Yeah, just watching inappropriate
being more
things,
aware of like pushing that away versus going to it.
Well, because I had watched something. And
the lusting and how you're kind of just trying to cleanse your body and
spirit. So I saw this thing where it was like talking about all your different energies, because we are energy bodies. So it's saying how your root is your lowest chakra, right? Chakra. And that lust, sexual desire is in the root.
I thought that
and
was
then
sacral.
The root, well, it's down in the bottom three, right?
Oh, okay.
So all that is down in the bottom, and then that is connected to like reptilian and just like very not. The higher being is not as lustful. They're not. It's more. It means something, right? When it happens, it's not just because, right? So that transition that I want to make that a true, like, not just what I'm doing to my body, where I'm going to the gym and I'm making sure, what am I eating? What am I putting into my body? Like, I'm starting to be conscious of that, because just the things, everything now is, everything depends on what you're putting in your body, what you're doing to your body, because this is your vessel. And if you treat it the right way, you can start to do really cool things very quickly. And that's why I'm like, okay, I'm making that shift in every aspect now. It's like I'm done fooling around. You throw your hands up and you like shifted.
Norse mythology. So the second one, looking at how they were, was just a misunderstanding from the very beginning. And they tried. They devoted themselves to trying because, well, we are here anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't, I really enjoyed how the end of this is neither were wrong. You know, neither were weak. Neither were stronger or braver or anything more loving than the other, more devoted than the other. They both tried and it wasn't going to work. And so the Norse mythology, the important note for this is that it often resists sentiment. The story of Njord and Ska teaches that devotion does not require self-erasure. Love that demands one abandon their nature becomes a distortion rather than a bond. In this tradition, integrity outweighs endurance, and wisdom may take the form of release. This one was pretty cut and dry.
Be nice. Yeah.
It was pretty cut and dry. Did our best, but it was under false pretenses. It was a misunderstanding.
But it still said they stayed devoted.
Yeah, they did.
They didn't ever go with anyone else. Like she lost her, and then she's like, "Ooh, I got him. I see those feet. That's the best one." And then it wasn't, and she was like, "Okay, I'll take it." You know, that was my. And
but
she took that humility.
They did let go of each other.
They did, but they stayed devoted.
Oh yeah, during the entire thing they did.
No, even afterwards. It said at the end of the story they stayed devoted. That's what
they leave. Like they
no. They separated. Go. Yes. But staying devoted means you didn't go with anybody else. That's the way I hear it. And I could have heard it marry.
So yeah, their love, I think it's their devotion existed. It just simply not live in the same place.
Correct. So was that still
love and devotion to each other, or was that devotion to
the arrangement?
Maybe.
Like they were like, okay, you know what? We
can be we can be devoted to each other.
Yes.
But I can't do it here and you can't do it there.
Correct. So it's like that separation. It's like, man, how many stories are like that though? Mm-hmm. Think about it. The sun and the moon one is a big one that keeps coming up. But there's countless. So that's just another form of viewing the same story. It's kind of beautiful though.
I know, it's just honest and
it's just a different way to look at it. Mm-hmm. I like it. What about story 3?
Story 3, that Welsh one. He earns his new name when he governs fairly and restores balance to the other worlds. So his devotion began with self-control.
I'm trying to recall this one.
This is the one. Okay, so he falters. He hesitates and he almost loses her.
But right. But why did he almost lose her? Like, what
he was hesitant. He was just his hesitation and
he wasn't. Counsel. Yeah, he didn't say
so whatever. They get married and everything. But interesting, her attendants were scared, so they blamed her for the death of her missing child.
Okay.
Puppy, rubber with blood.
Who did that?
Her attendants, because the child went missing.
Why would her attendants do that?
They were scared of punishment of what was going to happen.
Because one of them lost.
Yeah, so they lost him, and then they were scared.
Wow.
He stays by her the whole time, and she's just going through it.
Man, see, there's that thing. So many people say, I would do this if I was in that situation.
Can we ever really know unless we're tested?
100% we don't know, because that's a big thing said where I work, especially in the past where it was a little bit different. And that was true. You don't know how you are going to be until you are in the moment.
How do we prepare for that then? Do we take steps to prepare ourselves, or do we just acknowledge that possibility exists?
I think it depends on
we don't need to live in that thought of it coming up.
No, I think that is the least beneficial thing you could do for yourself, is to let that thought consume you, because then you are going to make that your reality one way or another, whether it's a torment in your mind.
I feel like you're specifically talking to me, and I was also specifically talking to me in my head.
well, I wasn't. And that's a great point. Here's the thing is, unless I'm saying it, like I'm not specifically talking about.
Yeah, we're just having a conversation where we're really talking to each other, but sometimes it really is like, oh no, you really.
And you know, and I hope that that's understood. And if it's not, my apologies. But moving forward, I didn't run. I walked like 2 of them.
Doesn't abandon her. And then in the end, the child comes back.
That part, could you imagine?
And
because then those women or whatever, like, did she say, don't?
She didn't resist or anything.
Right. No, she let people do whatever. So he stayed by her side.
Yeah.
And then the thing, when the child comes back, now what? To all those people that did that thing, now they probably thought that would never happen, but oofta.
I feel like she was really wise because it says towards the
she
end
had to be.
that devotion is not about correcting appearances. That's definitely where I struggle as a person is. A lot of the time don't care what people think, but they're like my family, I really do care.
Yeah, it's
and so
very
like
apparent.
does hurt. I know. Well, that's all right for me. Don't be sassy about it. That's going to be your family too.
Bella's already trying to be her family.
Yeah. It's going to be your family. When we're all different human beings and we all come together, you know, it can be tough sometimes, especially like because I'm a crazy person sometimes. I've said I don't. It's not about correcting appearances, but underneath that, it says that waiting in this tradition is not passive. It is an act of trust. So sometimes proving our love looks more like patience than heroics. I think that really felt so calming. Like she's going through all this chaos and he came in to be her calm. But he didn't come in out of nowhere. He was already there. He just came in closer. It felt like. And at the end, yeah, what do you do when that child comes back? You just, I think, based on how they sound like they are, move forward. Because if they weren't loud during that time of hardship, why would they be allowed now? They don't seem like the type that would flip that perspective because it's more about them than anyone else. So I need to prove not everyone else. But this mythology often frames devotion as moral endurance rather than victory. This story emphasizes that love proven by action may require patience, humility, and long faithfulness without vindication. Devotion is not defined by how quickly suffering ends, but how truth is upheld while it lasts. Man,
it would be so rough. So me as a dad, and if the mother of my child unalived them, I would be like, if I had that. But I think you would look at your partner and you'd be like, nah, what? Like, really? And she didn't say yes, but she didn't say no, right? Like, why not?
I really think body language would have spoken.
Yeah.
That he trusted, which in itself, I believe, says that she didn't need to say she didn't do it. Right. And he didn't need to ask.
And the fact that they found the child later with another lord means he'd been looking. Like, he had a pretty good idea, but how in the heck did he find it? Like, he had to have found someone that talked. Someone had to have said something for him to find that child, because it's not like he had a picture or something, you know? And who's to say that wasn't their child? How would you prove that back then? You know? So I'm sure, I mean, we're kind of ignorant to what we think it was like, though.
For sure.
I mean, it could be. They could have known for sure. Story 4.
Okay, so this is where she is tested constantly. To stray from her devotion, and she refuses again and again, and it's not about him showing up or anything. It's about the true meaning of devotion. Devotion doesn't require presence, right? That's that. I felt like this was heavily, cheating. It doesn't require that I might get caught. I need to not want to do it. She just remained devoted the whole time because she said that devotion is an identity. Devotion to him was her identity, to Panji. And so
That's pretty sexy too.
How they say they don't love each other in spite of the separation. They love each other through it. So they remember where their love belongs. That love doesn't disappear because they're not here.
Right.
Right? When you go to work, the love isn't gone because you're just not in the house.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, I guess, like, what do I do now? Like, what? No. But this is over long spouts of time, you know?
Right.
This isn't a
Yeah,
day or a week or a month. This was a long time wandering. And then they finally got that recognition. And their love survived, not because it never faltered, but because it remembers where it belongs. So it has nothing to do about faltering and coming back up. It's just remaining true, devoted, and remembering who you love and why you love them, and do sometimes. The Ponji story emphasizes devotion as continuity of salvation on outcome. Love is not proven by constant presence, but by faithful return after transformation. In Javanese tradition, their devotion matures through wandering, and reunion is meaningful only because both have changed.
And just so you guys know, when she said Javanese, that was correct. And it's from where again?
Indonesia.
Yeah, I didn't know that. So,
Javanese.
anyways,
I don't know. Yeah, I think it's right. But yeah, it gained meaning because they went out wandering and they weren't fixated on meeting each other again.
yeah,
They just embraced when it happened. And they were tested, I think, by the world and their energies, I think, when they were so close to each other, just barely missing. Are you going to rush? Are you going to make a mistake? And they just kept with their like consistency. That's what they did is, and then they came back changed, but they were still devoted to each other. We can change, so love each other.
yeah.
We can be.
I think you should. I think everybody should, honestly. Me personally, I intend on changing a whole bunch, not just in the near future, but moving. I think personally, when I stop changing is when I'm dead. It's just like when you grow and learn. I think all those should be in one thing. We should always be striving to like Odin, always striving to get more, learn more, not for greed or wealth, like money wealth, but to be wise. I think why not to just keep trying
for going after life,
just
devoting
just to
ourselves
live.
to life.
How amazing is it just to live? If you allow yourself to live this life, I believe I'm starting to step into that role 1,000,000%, like where I'm like, yes, why not me, you know?
Why not?
I already got a cool LED.
Anyways, our reflection question today is, where am I being asked to show love through action rather than words? So we're going to evaluate ourselves today because we are going to do our daily task, which is to complete one necessary task today without seeking acknowledgement. So today is about complete necessary task without seeking acknowledgement. A lot of this too was they did just move forward, like that one story. When the child came back, they just moved forward. They weren't trying to, you did this or you did that or I did this, so can you look at me? And so today we are just going to complete something that needs to get done just for the sake of doing it. I mean, we can't give acknowledgement, but we're just not seeking it.
Yeah.
We can't get acknowledgement or anything like that. We just aren't doing it for the pleasure of being acknowledged. And then remember that today, devotion is love made visible through persistence. So devotion is love made visible through persistence. So just to wrap up, like our first story, he rescues her. Our second one, they realize that their love can't live in the same place, and that's okay. Our third one is she's waiting for him. Like she's very patient. Our last one is like that big one of you don't need to be seen for me to be devoted to you. And I really like that, talking about this stuff, and because talk about in a relationship. That is a big thing for me, is like patterns and stuff. Like we all do make mistakes, and like when we're in relationships and we break up, it would be great to just believe that it's always the other person, but that's not the case. And so being able to sit with your partner and acknowledge where you faltered before,
Right.
And how we can fix that in ourselves is kind of what we're trying to do here.
Yeah.
In February, I mean, it's all about love and loving ourselves and loving others and acknowledging when we haven't been loving is kind of where I felt. So that's kind of why I'm tired. Is it doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
To have to acknowledge that you weren't like a very kind person, whether you intended to be or not.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where I'm at, is like there's a lot of love, how we talked about the other day. It's an action, it's a feeling, it's a thought, stuff. Kind of get through it one day at a time. So today we're just going to complete a necessary task. Doesn't matter how big, doesn't matter how small. It's just by necessary, it made it easy. Not something I could do later down the road.
Yeah, something as simple as like looking at a few dishes in the sink and putting them in the dishwasher.
Yeah, taking out the trash or
taking out the garbage.
Changing the litter box.
Yeah.
Whatever
Like,
it may be.
Could be, and then it doesn't even have to be a household chore, you know, or a chore at all. It could just be something that you need to do, and usually you like put it off and you dread it, and you're just like, you know what, I got to get this done, so I'm gonna just go. And I think that's something that I would like to take a little piece of and utilize more in my life.
Yeah, and it can be something that's fun too. Going like, I know I'm gonna cook those 2 pieces of salmon tomorrow.
Right.
And I'm excited about that. It's necessary because we're gonna starve if I don't.
And starve if you don't eat some salmon?
I'm gonna starve if I don't get it.
Well, like because maybe not putting it off, that means you look up a really good recipe on how to cook it. I did already look up some recipes. Oh my goodness. I already know that I'm gonna put it on top of pasta. And that's all we did today on Flourish. Like we said, it's been a long morning. We're ready to take a nap. It's just been go, go, go. And a lot of self-reflection and looking at love today for the devotion. So remember that, think about where am I being asked to show it through action rather than words. And then just complete that one necessary task, getting out of bed. Yeah. Brushing your hair. Maybe. It could be a whole bunch of self-love tasks that you're like, wow, look. Oh man, why not do some self-love? This sounds nice. It does. You know, have your partner give you a massage. I was just about to ask for a foot rub. We'll talk terms. Okay, anyways, thanks for joining us today, everyone. It's been a great day. Remember, if you have any comments, reflections, if you're in the healing process too, go ahead and that helps push below. It out for people, you know, so more people can hear about it. Maybe it'll help somebody. But yeah, let us know. Give us your comments, your thoughts. Love it. Thanks, guys. Thank you for walking this journey with me today. These stories are more than folklore. They are the heartbeat of our world building, the inspiration behind our characters, and the soul of the Legends Reborn Chronicles. By exploring these tales, we honor the past, ignite the present, and breathe life into the legends we're creating together. To see more of Mark and I, as well as additional scenes, discussions, and healing, check the links below that will lead you to our various social media platforms. Please also feel free to ask any questions or leave any comments in the episode below or in future episodes to come. We would love to hear from you. Until next time, may your path be guided by wonder, curiosity, and the magic of the stories that came before us. Blessings, and I'll see you on our next folklore journey.